our graphic designer kind of put this branding package together for your university, and we use the International Business course as a model. So these are different banners, templates, PowerPoints, video templates, and different things within the LMS that could be useful to you. These things fit very well into Canvas. It's filled with iconography, templates, different call-outs, Word documents, PowerPoint templates, things like that. All of which have a consistent look and feel throughout the course as the template is built. So this is what a homepage could potentially look like in one of your courses. You can see, I know you're not totally oriented to Canvas yet, but this is the global navigation for Canvas. And over here on the side, inside of it, is the navigation for the course for Canvas. One of the things that we are able to do, because Canvas is really very responsive from a link standpoint, is we can actually create a couple of different areas. You remember earlier when you were in the course, you went in through the modules area to find the different modules for the course. We can actually create an area down here where they can also access the modules this way. So it kind of gives the student a little bit of choice in how they access the content. There's also main navigation bullets down here for the syllabus, course policies, faculty intro, etc. And it all kind of ties together. We're using your branding, your logos, your school-approved colors, so it's consistent with some of the processes and some of the graphic design that you're already using on campus. This is what a module homepage could look like. So you have your module introduction and your objectives, assignment list, scrolling down the page. And if you remember from the first slide, these different buttons over here on the right-hand side, so they show up over here as part of the headers for the different introduction, objectives, and the different content areas within the course. And one of the other things we can do is we can help create a consistent opening presentation for any video you might create. This is actually built within Camtasia, but we can build this within other video content software. We can do it in Panopto. I think we can probably do it in Screencast-O-Matic, where it wouldn't be any trouble for the faculty member to create a video. The intro would just be right there. The video would just pop in right behind it. So there are a lot of things that we can do from a course shell standpoint, and what I want to do for the next few minutes is just kind of open it up for discussion. Any feedback that you have based on what you see. This is not a finished product by any stretch of the imagination. We'd love to hear what you have to say as faculty. You've worked in online courses before, so we'd love to get that feedback.
Matthew, are you able to pull up, briefly you showed us, I think it was Cal State San Marcos?
I can do that, I believe.
I mean, if that gives them a sense, that's one that's already developed, right?
Yeah.
And while you're doing that, and I know this is just a real technical thing, but the palette colors that you're using for the gold, are your designers sure that that's the palette color that we have defined for the university?
They should be using, because
Okay,
I gave them the branding guide that was
Okay,
given
good.
to our marketing department, so they
I
should
know,
be.
even though we're probably not as concerned about that, that question will be asked.
Well,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, I mean, I think, don't you think Jody ought to look at all this too?
Yeah,
before it's
absolutely.
finalized?
Yeah.
Yes, Jody's already been involved with all of this.
Why
Has
not?
she?
Yeah.
Good.
I didn't know if she'd been involved in the specifics of this.
She has.
Okay, so she's seen all this?
That's good. That's where it's got to go to.
Matt, I didn't mean to get you offline, but I think if we could see what you did at Cal State San Marcos, it would give them a sense of
No.
whether it's right for us or not.
Back up. You
Don't
hit yes.
register, yeah, you're
You didn't
registering
need to hit
again.
yes.
Go UNC.
Click open login page.
There we go.
Now, try it again and don't hit yes to count. Hit
Oh,
submit.
okay, I hit the wrong button, I see.
But you gotta click the
And then
accept.
accept.
Yeah.
We did.
Done that a million times, sitting all night long, going, why the heck?
There you
There
go.
you go. Great.
They're in nursing uniforms, but they're all business students.
Tell Beckham.
That's if we did an MBA MSN.
What school is this, Barry?
This is another school that I work with, Cal State San Marcos in San Marcos, California. They're also in Canvas. They're also using one of our templates. It's a different looking template than the one we're presenting to you today. It's a little bit older, but you can see, they've got their school logo with a banner. They've got their entry points for the different modules, and then an area for their syllabus and their course schedule upload. And then if you go into a particular module, say module 2, then there's a place for them to put their module title, any guiding questions they might have, upload a video. They have their module objectives to the side. And the way they have theirs set up, they have the navigation where you go through each page of the course kind of a little bit more linearly. But we've got different graphic headers, or the similar graphic header that goes through each page of the course, and it's consistent for the student in terms of how it looks and how it feels and how it reacts when they do different things in the LMS. The content that you upload and the things that you put in your course are obviously entirely up to you.
How much of, I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
I
John.
was saying, how much of that is uniform across all courses?
All the courses in this program, this is a nursing program, they all use the same template.
Okay, but when I say template includes what? Because that obviously drills all the way down to like readings, and I'm seeing that reading self-assessment.
In this case, template includes the manner. Let me scroll back one.
I mean, it lays out, it gets you into the module, but once you get into the module, from at that point, is it different? So you could have a little bit of different look course to course at that point, or?
In terms of this real estate and this real estate, no. So their banner is consistent in every page in their LMS. This little footer is consistent in every page. These icons are consistent. But in some cases, faculty will decide to change this photo to something different or take the photo out. So I would say these pieces here are very consistent, and then there's some faculty choice in terms of that right there, if they want to use some of that or not.
Okay, so when this is resolved, what essentially happens, if I'm getting this correctly, is when we work with a class, we get the template. And where it says title or question, we just start working with the template to build into. Okay.
Yeah.
And what we don't use, we can delete or choose not to display.
Yeah, absolutely. The
What happened?
template will come with like a place for everything, reading, discussion, video, etc.
But the look and feel is
Yeah,
consistent.
yeah. But what you use and what you don't use and what you hide is up to you, and based really on what you're teaching, your pedagogy, etc.
And we will send you also the recommendations for quality matters in terms of how you want to structure the lessons. So you decide what is taught.
Right.
You decide the activity, the readings, the videos that are to be taught. But how to properly describe them in ways that are consistent with best practices, we'll send you also recommendations so you structure it better.
What is the timetable for completion of this template? I mean, what is expected?
From the feedback we get today, we can begin building the template based on that feedback as soon as we get back. It'd probably take our graphic designer a couple of weeks to turn around the feedback, give it back to you guys for one final look to make sure everything's the way you want it, and then build the shell from there. The big question is when you'll have your instance of Canvas, but what we can do is we can build the shell in our instance so that it's ready when you guys have your instance, we can upload it. I think that's kind of the
I
one
think that's
variable
what
I
we
can't
planned
control
on,
now.
because we're not gonna be at that point. Right?
When is
So
that?
what's the
When
question?
the target
Who's there
date for the
Canvas to
instance of
get this
Canvas?
program,
Well,
from what Nancy had said, and Ray.
well, how I understand it is that now you guys will be rolled into our instance of Canvas, which will be spun up sometime in July.
Okay. Okay. So when the instance is ready, we can transfer that template over.
In the meantime, in the instance that we are playing today, this course that we're playing, we can put that template there, and you that course shell there, and you can all see it and explore it and review it.
Good. I think that's what everybody's wanting, is a chance to get in there and see.
Yes.
I have a
What's the benefits?
question in regards to availability of the course. Does AP have any standards or guidelines, or, in other words, the term's coming up. Let's say that we're in September and October term is coming up. So what's the deadline, or are there any policies from AP standpoint about when course availability needs to be?
For students or for faculty?
Yes. Well, Both.
Well, for both. I mean, from a faculty standpoint, I think as a best practice, we recommend that the course be completed and ready for any sort of internal or external quality review a month before it goes to students. So if the start date's October 23rd, as a best practice, we would say the course should be completed by the faculty member by September 23rd. In terms of a best practice for students, a lot of the institutions that I work with put their students in the courses about a week before it actually launches. That with the caveat that most of them don't make the entire course available. They make the homepage available, the syllabus available, things that they can interact with in their Start Here area to get them prepared for the course. A lot of them don't actually let them into the content until the first week of the course.
Now, this may not be a fair question, but when it comes to Canvas, is it going to operate much like Blackboard? In other words, a shell will be created and then we would go populate the shell with the course that we previously taught or with the sample course?
Well,
And the students would be associated upon registration, or?
it's just like that. Just keep
Okay.
them in same mind, same process.
Okay.
But more of you're probably gonna have to go in a little earlier. As far as important content, I would
Canvas to Canvas,
canvas to canvas.
you're okay.
I'm okay with that one.
But Blackboard to Canvas is a challenge.
I'm gonna say, yeah, that's gonna present this challenge because not a lot of tools available in Blackboard that's available in Canvas. So you see a lot of broken links, you see a lot of nasty logs, and then that'll freak you out. But from Canvas to Canvas, you're okay.
Now, the beauty of Canvas, as I'll show you in a moment, is that literally if you have two monitors, which I have done it, the migration from Moodle to Canvas or from Blackboard to Canvas, it's in many instances you can copy and paste. You do have to go and check for the links, but Canvas allows that you can literally go into the edit mode in Blackboard, go into the edit mode in Canvas, select copy and paste, and it will paste beautifully videos and stuff. It is because it is built with that user in mind, that people are not that as technological as Terry or myself. So they want to make the people's life easier, so they are user friendly.
What I'm hearing is there are basically two culture changes that are going on at one time. The culture change to academic partnerships, the look and feel, the 7-week course. But at the same time, the culture change from Blackboard to Canvas. So we need to be cognizant as faculty that both are going to, for instance, Charles should not assume that he's going to be able to take his Blackboard course and copy it into Canvas the week before it's due.
That's right.
That's
Okay.
correct.
So I don't know how many of you guys are in tune with that.
So,
but that's what I'm
if I
understanding.
can, Nick, if you had to right now, you could call out the name of the 5 people who are gonna be teaching in October, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we don't have to, so I'm just saying,
Yeah.
there's only gonna be 5 people that have to have a course prepped for that October start date, which is like the 23rd or something.
And from our standpoint, as a best practice, we recommend a 4-month development schedule. So if you think about a course launching on October 23rd, June 23rd would be the day that, theoretically you would start working on your course for October. It gives the faculty enough time to build or to transition content based on where they're at. And I realize some of you will be off in the summer. Most of you will be off in the summer. It depends on your contract. And, from that standpoint, I've worked with a lot of different instructors to put together timelines that work better for their schedules. So when we get to that point, I think part of the process that Joy and Terry and I are continuing to work out is how that relationship is going to work between us supporting you through the development process and how that process is going to look, say, for courses that are launching next summer. Do we start those courses earlier than we might normally to help accommodate your schedule? So we can work around potential vacations to Ghana that have already been scheduled, that sort of thing.
One thing that I might suggest is that faculty council members that are here, back when we put in the online standards, we said we're going to review them every year, and I don't think that's really been done since the initial year. So faculty council, we need to review those, but at the same time, we need to take into consideration any effects from AP that might need to be modified in there as well. So just kind of food for thought.
And keep in mind, there's a lot of work to be done here, but you're receiving a $4,000 stipend for migrating a course for the first time. Is that correct,
One
Nick?
time.
That's right.
Right,
And-
Nick, is that right?
And Matt will also give you a schedule as those courses are scheduled to be launched on October. He's gonna give you a schedule of times that he wants to meet with you and check on your work and make sure that things are going 25%, 50%, 100% of the course. I need these resources, and I cannot find the resources to really do, or how can I do this activity in a different way? So all these things, you're not gonna be alone, but there's gonna be little smaller touch points that will help you get there and get the support to make it happen in a best practice way. So.
Aside from the sort of bigger picture questions, you know, broader materials that you're going to use, things like that, there's not, unless I build my course differently, it doesn't seem there's a whole lot that can be done until we have that template and we've got Canvas set up, because then we really can't start laying out and seeing exactly what it looks like.
But we're gonna,
Is there a way that, to his point, is there a way that AP can set up some development courses for the instructors, and then they can just export
Yeah.
into
I
ISD?
can check to see if that's a
I think
possibility.
they might mention
That's a good
that,
idea.
I mean, because that would be the better way. They can get in,
Yes.
do what they need to do, and then when our instance is spun up, because I would hate to have them on hold waiting until we get ours resolved, and then they can get in and do what they need to do, and then they can export it and send it up.
That would
Only-
still require the template to be done.
Right.
But then once the template's done, while we're waiting for our stuff, we would then be able to go and
build it.
build a class, and then whatever we
The only-
built can get sent over.
The only caveat we need to be careful about is, in some of these setups of these LMSs, there are certain things that can be custom or can be specific to the institution. We just need to make sure that, you follow what I'm saying?
I do. One thing that I love about Canvas is that no matter if it's UNCP or let's just say New Mexico University, it's all the same.
Okay, good.
Unlike Blackboard. Blackboard, you had different environments,
That's good.
different
flavors,
So with Canvas, that's their biggest
That's
niche.
nice.
That everything, and everybody loves it, that it's all standardized.
Are you
John.
so one thing that we're going to do as we review the courses is that we're going to create a map of your course where you're actually going to be able and revisit what you've been doing, check for alignment, check what you can innovate or improve in your course. So it's with this exercise that you'll do with Matt or maybe Jenny, I don't know.
It'll be a combination, probably
Okay,
me and
so,
the ID team.
so this will be something that will be done to kind of give you an opportunity to go back to your course, to really make sure, am I achieving what I really want to achieve? What can I do better? What can I be new? What can I update? So this exercise is the first one that we're going to do. So it's not only a migration, we're also going to take a second look at our course and see in which ways we can actually improve upon the work that we've been doing thus far.
So just a couple more minutes from a look and feel standpoint. Does everybody like what they see here? Is there any feedback that you have that I can take back to our graphic designer that might, need to be adjusted? Or is everybody comfortable enough with this to where, we could go ahead and build a master shell that Terry and Joey and the leadership group could take a look at and approve?
It's hard to say without comparing 2 or 3, like samples, because this is the only thing we see, So comparison will help,
Okay.
If you have another design, 2 or 3 other samples that we could just look at them and then compare, I think that's easier rather than, the way it looks is fine, but then wait till you see another design, say, oh yeah, this one is better. So comparison does help,
It seems like the final template decision, though, is not going to all of a sudden take something I want to do in a class and say I can't do it. It's just simply, this is layout and optics.
Yeah, this is
So in
the
that case,
house. This is
yeah.
the house.
It's the house.
I would trust the team to deal with that properly, and I want to move on from there.
So I was gonna ask John, you use CapSim in your capstone course, don't you? Any issues, like, I guess there's a student fee for using that, and are any issues with building simulations into these?
I'll have to look and see if there are any simulations that actually plug into Canvas, but in terms of, most of those simulations, you do that through a third-party
It
site.
is. I know that CapSim did announce, and I didn't participate in this, but they announced 2 months ago a pilot program where they were going to begin with a seamless integration with certain LMS. I didn't read the details because I didn't want to be the guinea pig, for that. But I think Canvas was one of those.
And
But,
you
you know.
just, especially if it's from a third party, you just embed, and so when students land into the page of the simulation, they just click, and it will
Password.
take them there.
It's
So
not
it's,
that-
it's seamless.
Adding a password is not the
It's
biggest problem in
not,
the world anyway, to me, but.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get out of this and let Caroline go through Canvas for a few more minutes, but this will be up on the shared drive tomorrow if you want to take a look at it as faculty members, but I think we could probably, Nick, and I think we'd probably just go ahead and start working on that shell now and get that to you guys in a week or two and have you as a leadership group take a look at it and go from there. But I like your idea of maybe perhaps creating an environment in the short term where they could work on the courses, especially if the shell's done, because then the transfer is very easy from one instance to another.
Okay, so let's begin in Canvas. I'm gonna first land in this page that already Matt had, to just show you in general how Canvas normally looks. So Canvas has a couple of spaces in its environment that you want to be familiar. One, on the left, on the extreme left side, you have the Canvas navigation, the overall navigation for Canvas. This will allow you to see a couple of things. So first, obviously in our case it's AP, but in your case it's going to be things related, your account. So here's Matthew, profile, settings. You can also see your courses. So this is all the courses that you are registered, either as a student or as a faculty. You can see the calendar, things that are due. Okay. Here you have the inbox. With respect to the inbox, we strongly encourage users to use the mail from Canvas to communicate with the students related to issues in the course, because you have a way to communicate easily. So for example, let's say that I want to create an email. I can choose the course. I can write an email and say who I want to send it. This is very similar to Blackboard and other ones, all in Faculty Training Playground, only the teachers. You can decide who to write to. And it keeps, and for example, in this one, you can actually send an individual message so people think that you're only addressing to them versus the group. So this is very convenient, but there's a couple of things. If you send it from your own email and students send you homework, then it's your responsibility to track stuff. Plus, it may overload your personal email. You don't want that. So using through that, it's in the cloud, it's problem-free.
Can I stop you there for a second?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if either of you guys can take this message back to do it, but currently with the new email, we can't use a button like that because it's trying to pull up the old OWA and it won't pull up, it has no reference to the new OWA. It won't do it in Blackboard or in Canvas, so we need to let them know that. I know now because we're in the summertime, it's not that big of an issue, but it kind of is an issue. So, I mean, for example, in Blackboard, if I tried to email my entire class, I got to email them individually.
Okay.
Okay?
And you're talking about within Blackboard?
Yes. Well, I mean, it's going to happen within Canvas too, because when you click on that, it's going to try to open up your email account. and it's not gonna open, because by default, it's gonna go to OWA and not to.
I'm a little
2013.
confused, okay, because like in
Blackboard.
Blackboard, if you're trying to, if you're using the email system.
I'm
in
sorry,
Blackboard-
not Blackboard,
Yeah, you
in
can do-
Banner, gotcha.
Oh, okay,
Banner.
I'm like.
In Banner, if I go to my list of
about
advisees, or if
that?
I go to my class summary,
Okay.
and I click email class, I'm done.
Oh,
So like, I'm emailing my summer 2 semester right now, and I'm going from Banner to do it instead of Blackboard. So I'm sorry, I said Blackboard.
Right.
Blackboard's fine.
You
I'll
could do
forward
that.
that to the banner.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay, so here's the environment in the course. This course you're all registered to, so you're gonna be able to go back in here, and we're gonna put today's presentations and other things as we were. So take this as literally your playground. You can play, you test. It doesn't matter if you have a hiccup or make a boo-boo, because that's precisely the whole idea, that you can experiment and feel comfortable that you won't press something wrong in the real course and suddenly delete all your students and their homework. That's normally not a great thing. So here you can do it. So look at the environment. Again, this is the general navigation from Canvas, and this one in here in the general is related to your course. Here you're going to be able, and just like the template that Matt just showed you, you have a banner for the course, a welcome, and then you hear, normally our courses, as part of best practices, you always start with a get started here. It walks the student through what is expected in this course, who's teaching you this course, what are the policies that you need to abide by, and so on. So this is a small, and it ends with a welcome discussion where people welcome each other and say hi to one another. So everybody's expected to go through these, but here in this template, again, you have the syllabus, where it would have also a link to your syllabus, the policies, the faculty, and about this course. Now let me show you a little bit more about the environment. Here on the right-hand side, you have a couple of nice things. Oh my God, I got a great stuff. All the grading that is pending is going to be there to remind you. It's a gentle harassment to do your faculty thing. And let me show you, I'm gonna go back to a moment, but also you can do a couple of things. You can create a new announcement if you have a new announcement, and you can also go here on the right side. You can view the course stream, meaning how are the statistics in your course in terms of participation. And let me go back. And also you can view the calendar, what's coming up. And oh, let me see something. I don't know why I see now why it's not doing it what I wanted. Okay, here it is. I apologize. Somehow I unpublished it after I had published it. So unpublished means that students don't see it. Published means that students can see it. And this is what I wanted to show you. As you go on into your course, you can actually follow up with the analytics on your course. Are people participating in the activities? Are people submitting assignments? What are the grades? Who's in your course and how much are they participating? So here I see that Jeff and Takuma are rocking this course. But Tekoya, I need to maybe follow up with her. So in later conversations, we're gonna talk more about facilitation and how you can empower your teaching through the use and the look at these analytics and go back and say, what can I do? Why is this student not engaging when normally I'm getting good work from them? Let me go back. And concerning what I was saying about grading is that when you see the two said grade assignment 1, you can literally go to the assignment page. You actually have the work. This is Jeff submitted this assignment. Let me see the rubric. Oh God. Canvas is just awesome. I graded. Look at that. It takes me 2 seconds because I am not a very dedicated professor. That's it. Oh, this is awesome. I want to, give them a feedback because my students just love to see me, and I can give them my feedback personally, and
Wow.
I can give them video feedback or audio feedback. If you don't want to type, or if you're just such a charming professor that the students cannot get enough of seeing you in class. It's connecting. It's just that our connections are not as good as.
What like scale are you using on the rubrics? Because I see.
Well, I actually just uploaded a generic rubric.
So what if you have intervals? Like, in this case, I see when you click on each item, it gives a score, right?
Oh yeah,
Looks
let
like-
me go back to it. I think I'm not gonna be able. I was gonna show you how you can create a feedback. Let me go back.
Intervals and what-
So I uploaded.
Scale.
When we created the rubric, I said quality and timeliness, and I created a scale. Who gets the full 5 point, 3 points, 1 point?
Okay, so these
It
are.
has it built in, yeah.
Yeah, so, but these are not intervals. In certain cases, you can say, for example, 0 to 3, 4 to 6.
No, rubrics, we can have a conversation in a future time where I can actually, or Matt and I can actually teach you how to create your own rubrics depending on the assignment. You define the criterion, and you define the score for meeting or not meeting the criterion.
Right.
So you start on your ideal criterion,
Right.
and then you subtract points depending how far people are from that criterion, but no scale. It's a specific grade. Now, if a person is in between 2 points in the criterion, you can actually go manually and put here. So if you don't want to give them a 5, but it's not a 3, it's almost there, you can manually here put a 4, too.
Sounds like
There's
it's
a
very
video on
specific and
YouTube.
absolute.
on
Yeah, these are.
It's not giving you the range.
It's not a range.
Now,
Range, right.
now look at this. If there's a specific reasons why you didn't give them the full, you can write a comment about quality and timeliness and give them a specific recommendation.
Okay.
So remember that good feedback is precise, concise, and polite, meaning constructive. You don't want to be destructive in your feedback because people don't learn if you just tell them this is terrible work. Go ahead.
So how does it work?
Good job.
Let's say we're 3 weeks before the begin date for a class, and there's 40 students enrolled, and the professor wants to have an academic coach. How does that all happen? Like,
You go in.
We kind of discussed that a little bit earlier.
okay, I was,
We kind of covered that. I think the open items are really just deciding what that coach's role is going to be within the course, and then the faculty discussing exactly what those coaches will be able to do.
okay,
within the
thanks.
course. But we kind of talked about the overarching theme of the coaching model
Now,
earlier.
Now, your courses are organized in what we call modules. Normally, a module is something that you will do in a week, in about a week. So normally, your courses are going to be 7 modules in length. And modules, so you see they're getting started. And modules, this is normally what a module is looking like. It has an overview where you introduce the topic for that week. You have measurable objectives for that week. You have lecture materials, and lecture materials can be anything from an actual Camtasia relay voiceover to a video to a podcast. You have different ways to have those, to provide that lecture. You have a discussion, you have an assignment, and you always do a summary. That initial and closing to your lesson wraps up is really promotes the learning. So normally this is what a normal week would look like. You can add activities or simulations or group projects as you please, depending on the goals for your course and the level of your students. Now, and they will look in this way. So you see the introduction. I put here a little bit about Canvas. In this one, I put objectives. In the other ones, I didn't populate it. I just wanted to see kind of like normally what it looks. You have a lecture, you have a video, you have other lecture materials. People, normally this is hot link. People click there and connect to the file or whatever other materials you have for them to learn. You can actually go into the course if you want, as we're talking right now. A discussion, normally you want to introduce why this discussion. Best practices say, always introduce and explain the relevance of what you're asking them to do. No longer my mom's policy that you do things because I say so. You want it with the adult learner, the putting relevance to the learning, it's key, it's instrumental to facilitate and to improve performance. You put instructions, and then you also create a rubric. Now, the nice thing is that when you go into any of these lessons, you see how it says publish? If you're not ready for anybody to see it, you put it on published. And look how easy it is to create the lesson. You just go to edit. It goes into edit mode, and you can type. So here, look how nice. And don't worry if you don't remember everything. We do this. We find the file that we want to hot link this to. You upload the material, and now my document is linked. And I want it even better. I want it to open when students go into the course. It will open inside a box. Very easy. But you don't have to now to memorize all these details. Now, when you have, in this case, is a discussion, you can decide what you want in that discussion. Do I want students to reply? Do I want this discussion graded? Normally, in terms of discussion specifically, if you don't grade it, participation goes down very quickly. So I normally always grade discussions. I assign points, and you can, once you do that, you save. To your discussions, you can also attach or add a rubric. Why are rubrics powerful? And we're not gonna go in depth, but the only time that is a rubric hard is the first time you create the rubric, because you have to create all these little boxes and put the criterion and stuff. But once you create it, you can have one rubric for all your discussions. What helps criterion-based assessments is that students know exactly why they got their grade, and they know exactly what they need to do to improve their grade. Rubrics are very powerful when you want people to it's not a right or wrong answer, but you want a change in performance.
Do you reckon, or do you think it's more valuable to have one across the board through the program for discussion boards, or each professor have their own matter in this?
Someone tell me, I don't remember what conversation, that you have a set of competencies that you want all your students to achieve by the time they complete the program. So if one of the competencies is using evidence-based discussions, if you want people to be able to do good spelling and grammar and expressing whole ideas. I mean, these are competencies that are going to help everybody in the workplace independently. So you can define those criteria as a group, and also but there's also a lot of nicely already done, so you can evaluate several and say, I'm going to adopt this one, this sounds good, and then grow upon that. There are several ways. There are actual apps that help you create rubrics, and it's all criteria based, so there are better ways. But yes, there is a benefit, is as a community we decide we want everybody to achieve this level of performance, so we're all going to.
I think. what you
It
said
all
was,
depends, you make that choice.
From an accreditation standpoint, it's very preferable.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Nick, we could take the entire learning goals for assurance of learning purpose. If we did have one rubric that could capture 3 or 4 of those goals, and that'd be a common one used in each course.
It
Now-
might be good to do for faculty council too. I mean,
Now remember, if you go that route, because you are thinking with the end in mind, that your beginning students are going to have a harder time demonstrating those competencies initially, because if they are in day 0 of a 2-year journey, then they may not, if they anyway, because it's gonna build upon. So then your questions in the discussions would be lower, less ambitious, so people have an easier time to achieve.
well, but
The
at the
goal.
same time, if you're measuring over that period and you want to see, I mean, you hope to see
See
improvement,
some growth.
Yes.
then maybe it's not a bad thing.
No, not a bad thing, but do you want people to build upon that in ways that also recognizes that they are at a different point in their formation, and so you don't have a lot of people failing.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so this is for example one of the activities, and this is an assignment. I also put a rubric, and as I show you here. And in the case of this assignment, the same thing. You have an introduction, you have instructions, you have the assignment, you have a rubric. And so, but in each one of these assignments, once the students start submitting the assignment, you can literally go to speed grader. You saw it where I was? Let me go back so you can see it where I was.
Yeah,
On the upper right hand corner,
second one.
you can download the submissions, and you can go to speed grader, and you can grade the assignment.
And I'll tell you the great thing about Canvas from the speed grader standpoint and from just an overall standpoint. I think increasingly we know students are using these more often, and they're using iPads more often. I don't know if any of you have tried Blackboard on the mobile experience.
That's what I was going to ask.
It's not terribly good. Canvas is a lot better from a mobile standpoint, in all honesty, to the point where you can actually use this speed grader app on your tablet.
Really?
Yeah. you can do that. I've tried it before, and
Furthermore,
it works.
if you have someone that is not online all the time, you can actually download your course and see it offline. It doesn't have yet, they're working on the features that you can be offline, upload kind of like Facebook, that you can write your comment, and whenever you go back online, it would upload automatically your comment. They are working on seeing that you can upload the assignment. It will stay in queue, and as soon as you go online, it will not get there, but you can literally download readings and instructions and study when you're offline. That's a very convenient stuff for students that may not have a connectivity all the time. For me, for the reality in international, that's key, because most, data is really expensive in many countries. So people only connect when they're on campus or when they're in a cafe. They don't have necessarily all the time that data. So that's a really nice thing. So
And one additional thing I'll add is the shell that we're building. it's responsive to all of this. So it will work on the laptop, it will work on the iPad, it will work on the iPhone. From an ADA standpoint, the designs that we create for the shells are responsive to that. So it's not gonna create a different experience for a student who's using their tablet as opposed to using their laptop.
Okay, so let me go back to the
Carolina.
landing page. Okay, when we go to the landing page, let me show you a couple of things. When you are doing assignments, so this was a discussion that I had with the university recently, and it was that they wanted to use weights. We don't actually, weights is not very consistent with best practices anymore. You try to assign points for the different things, and you assign more points to the activities that you want more points, but they wanted to give 20% to discussions, 30% to assignments. And so Canvas makes it, I don't know if you remember Blackboard, that doing weights was yes, that was I cried nights and so when I had to do that. Look how nice it is. You can create a group where you can actually call it discussions. And I say, great, it creates a group for me, and I can determine what, I'm sorry, let me move a discussion here. And I can go now and say that, give me 1 second, I'm doing, I can do weights, and it's going to tell me that I want this to be 50% and that I want discussions to be 50%, plus it helps you make sure that it's 100%, not 110 or 20, like Caroline has done at times. Very rarely, because I almost never make mistakes, but but you can see how now you can put weights, you can create other groups of assignments, projects, exams, and put different weights, and it will calculate for the total amount for the grade. Now, you're ready to grade? Every graded assignment for each one of your students is here. And we're gonna go more in depth later. But so let's say Caroline went to North Carolina and she couldn't finish grading. And it's their due today. I had mentioned my students. I can actually message the students who haven't submitted yet, who I haven't graded them. Sorry guys, I'm running late. I was with awesome people in North Carolina. I couldn't finish today. All these things make their thinking of you and the kinds of multiplicity of challenges that you face every day, and that you don't have time to go one by one. You may actually forget. This will allow you. Just like before, you can also go and grade. So if you're ready to just grade everybody, it will take you to Speed Grader. If you want to curve the grade, not good practice, but it allows you to curve the grade. And if you're ready to check on someone, you can check the assignment, add a comment, add a grade, all of that. So these are similar things, but for me, these kinds of features really make your life easier, because it allows you that as you scale, so when you have lots and lots of students, you need ways to manage the learning in ways that will never reduce the rigor, never put at risk that one-on-one feeling that your student still needs to have in terms of your attention, but also keep you sane, which is important. Not that many faculty are always sane, but in case we want to go that goal.
Caroline, question.
Yes, sir.
You ever use Blackboard?
Yes, sir. I was administrator at UT Health.
So in using Canvas versus Blackboard, Describe the experience.
We migrated at the end of my tenure there from my Blackboard for Canvas for those reasons. So one of the things is that it's in the cloud. So all the updates, you don't have to worry about them. They're done in the cloud. And then they will be fixed over there, and updates as well. You don't have to do the patches. You don't have that everything needs to stop. So we would do patches, for example, in December. So people would have to bear with whatever was the issue for the longest time, because we needed either to be an issue that was affecting too many, or it was an issue that we literally needed to shut down the system and bring it back up. So that was the user experience in that sense is much easier. It's much more
Faster to create a
pleasant.
course.
Yes, creating the course is literally an edit. You can open pages and copy and paste, and it will copy beautifully. We are developing a course development tool that as soon as we have it, you will be one of the ones benefiting from it. That literally you can create and it will format and make everything look so nice in your course. But right now, Canvas as it is and with the template, it will be so much effortless to make a course look nice that in Blackboard, it wasn't necessarily. It took a lot of more work to have that feel of high quality. You needed to be more skilled. The new professor was lost in getting there.
I would echo all of that, and I think we're at a point where we've got to wrap up. I appreciate all your time. Thank you so much for joining us today. You've got my card in the folder, so if you think of other questions that you have related to today's workshop or just related to the partnership in general, please feel free to email me. I've got some action items to go over with Joy and with Terry when I get back to Dallas, but the big thing is we'll be working on the shell and getting that taken care of, and I'll be checking to see if we can provide you guys with some guest access to our environment so you can get to work once the shell's complete.
The course evaluation,
Or-
the workshop evaluation.
I will email you all the workshop evaluation probably tomorrow morning once I get back, and we'd be happy to get your feedback.
Yes,
some of
please,
you
if you
today.
give us feedback, we continue improving and it'll help us do a better job as we progress in our work with you.
Nick, anything else?
Thank you, it's been a pleasure.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll meet you tomorrow.
Yes, we're going to
Lunch-
Ghana
lunch
next week, no?
Dinner.
Are we going to Ghana next week? I thought so.
Yeah.
We're going
Okay.
to